Here, at the University of Chicago, a derided minority of scholars was forging a link between Adam Smith and what they believed was a new economic science for the 20th century. Among them was Milton Friedman. In time, his name and the Chicago School of Economics would be intertwined.
I felt almost immediately at home. This seemed like where I was supposed to be.
For the next 30 years, the University of Chicago will be his spiritual home.
I couldn't bring myself to leave Chicago, not because of its beautiful climate, but because of the quality and the spirit and the attitude in the economics department and indeed in the university at large.
The number of people around the world who were firm supporters of liberty, of a classical liberal point of view about human society, were very few and far between, and were beleaguered wherever they were as a small minority.
He came on the scene with what were perceived to be radical ideas in the 1950s and the 1960s, largely because the influence of John Maynard Keynes was about fully pervasive, if I may put it that way.
His analysis was so clear and straightforward and simple that he believed that he was right on most of these issues and that the profession just hadn't analyzed them sufficiently.
There are very few people over the generations who have ideas that are sufficiently original to materially alter the direction of civilization. Milton is one of those very few people.
The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences asks you to step forward and receive from the hand of His Majesty the 1976 Nobel Memorial Prize.
By now, the name Milton Friedman is well known in the halls of government.
Joining us live from our San Francisco bureau is the Nobel Prize-winning economist Milton Friedman.
And around the kitchen tables and in the living rooms of America. "3 years in production, Free to Choose will illustrate Milton's philosophy in new ways that are easy to understand.
On the other side of the world, in Japan,
thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil.
This is India today.
Free to Choose is broadcast in Japan and every country in Europe except France. Rose and Milton edit the soundtracks from the programs into a best-selling book. Translated into 16 languages, it sells over 1 million copies.
I think by espousing these ideas in both technical and in popular media, eventually also in Free to Choose, a television series, the country became much better prepared to accept them when Ronald Reagan put forward some of them in his own inimitable and persuasive manner.
After the election, Reagan asks Milton to join his Economic Policy Advisory Board, along with George Shultz, Alan Greenspan, and Martin Anderson.
They were reinforcing what Reagan wanted to do. But Milton was incredibly persuasive in that role and had a lot to do with the fact that they actually passed it and they went through.
Reagan limits government spending, cuts taxes, deregulates major industries, and supports a monetary policy long advocated by Milton.
We're all here today to present the Medal of Freedom to 8 remarkable Americans. The citation from Milton Friedman, teacher, scholar, and theorist. Milton Friedman restored common sense to the world of economics. It is for his celebration of the human spirit, as well as the brilliance of his mind, that I bestow upon Milton Friedman the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Milton has this extraordinary capability of talking to high school students and presidents of the United States in exactly the same language, the same demeanor. He is indifferent to whom he's speaking to.
king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together.
It's the issue, the idea that is so dominant.
Right at this moment, there are people all over the land, I can put dots on the map, who are trying to prove Milton Friedman wrong at some point, or somebody else trying to prove that he's right. That's what I call influence.
The principles of freedom, the principles that are involved in free to choose, are those which are most applicable to advance human civilization. And you can't delve in a more important area than that.